So this is artist, entrepreneur, and art educator Eric McRay, leaving my class here at the Cary Art Center. I'm teaching a 5-week session on a class, mixed media collage, in parentheses, collage. And the question I asked myself was, what is a collage? And do the many people who hear me make reference to collage really fully understand what it is and its origins? Collage comes from a French term called papier-collé, which means pasted paper. The fundamental of collage is the idea of sticking something on a surface and adhering it and being able to take elements of the real world and move it into the two-dimensionality of the picture plane to make art. And if you were to use more substantive materials like wood or found objects, it moves into the realm of creating something that's a relief, that's three-dimensional, more sculptural. It becomes assemblage. So back to collage. Collage is its origins really started in early 20th century when artists were no longer trying to depict the world in a finite representational fashion, which had been done for hundreds of years, because at the advent of photography and then film, no longer artists were obligated to try to depict the real world. Previously, if you think about before the Civil War, you see photographs of battlefields and the scenes and pictures of Abraham Lincoln. But there are no photographs of the American Revolution or George Washington because photography didn't exist. So artists were used to depict the world and the histories and also biblical themes and mythological themes and all kind of things. And so the objective was to get a realness and also to depict the real world and tell these narratives that people wanted to see. You have some people who are illiterate, and so many people, of course, you didn't have film and TV and so forth. So how do you show people pictures? You paint them and draw them. So when photography came about, and which opened the door to abstraction, then all of a sudden Picasso and Braque, two of the greatest artists of the 20th century, started to use real world materials. Braque's father was he dealt in the business, I think it was a paint business, whatever. He dealt with wallpaper and interior design. So Braque thought to use wallpaper actually into some of their cubist pieces, and the geometry of it worked well with wallpaper, and thus this door was open to taking us from the real world, adhering it onto a surface. No longer was that surface supposed to be a window, an illusionary window into another world, but it's really said, hey, we're in a real world. I'm taking a piece of material, sticking it onto this piece of canvas that's actually stretched on a piece of wood, and now this thing is not just a window to another world, it's an object that we're dealing with. So that opened the door to using physical material, and Picasso, being the genius he is, he took this and ran with it and just opened the doors in such ways. So what happened is other art movements came along, like abstraction, surrealism, so forth and so on. Other artists adopted this technique of collage. You had surrealist artist Max Ernst did a lot of things with collage. Then you had a guy, was it Kurt Schwitters, and his Dada and abstractionist collages. Then you move around to the 1940s, and artists like Robert Motherwell start using it in abstract expressionism. And then you get around to the 1960s, where artists like Romeo Barton start depicting narratives with influences of other artists, like Hannah Hawk, who was a surrealist, earlier had used collage. So when Barton got to collage by the 1960s, there was a lot had already been done in collage, and Barton is probably the greatest collage artist of the 20th century, and probably one of the greatest artists to ever use collage, so masterfully, opened the door even further to collage. So now the artist was able to use all these different materials: wallpaper, foils, paper, pre-printed material out of magazines, posters, whatever, cut up and deconstruct it and reconstruct it, and creating these images that can be quite compelling, surrealistic, abstract, cubist, even depicting a certain element of realism by pulling these realistic representational images together, make a form of photo montage and collage. And so all this watershed of creativity comes through, and all these things are created, and all these great artists do just wonders with this medium. So now with these collages, they're using paper and paint and drawing, and all this becomes a synthesis of mixed medias together to create a cohesive work. Now, not all collages are created equally. Some great, some not so great. Some just utter masterpieces. So take your time out, Google some images, look up artists like Romare Bearden, Hannah Hawk, Picasso, Brock, Kurt Schwitters, Jean Arp. Matisse did his colorful cutouts in paper. Eric McRay, myself, I love collage. A lot of my work is collage based, and I just love the improvisation. For me, collage is very much like jazz. It's really knowing how to play something a certain way, and then breaking the rules, so to speak, and going off and coming back and moving in and out, and the improvisation of finding an element and out of context and put into a new context, and then creating a whole new realities and this cohesive new reality. And so for me, collage is almost like a form of alchemy. I'm taking straw and turning to gold. I'm taking sand and turning to microchips. I'm taking, the thing that has really very little value and turning to great art with aesthetic as well as monetary value. So my collage has been very well received and collected by museum, corporate, and private collections. So back to collage as a whole, try it as a medium. I teach classes at it. I'm sure somebody else does. And as a method for you to open the door. And the beauty of it is that anybody can do a collage. Not everybody can do it well. I've taught young children, I've taught senior citizens, I've taught people with special needs, people who are typical population, beginners, as well as folks who have masters in fine art. But ultimately, all of it is about launching into the deep and allowing yourself to open the doors to creativity. If you're a painter, and abstractionist, collage is a great method. I use it for my abstraction as well as my figurative work. So collage was the topic today, and you can see more of my work online at my website, ericmcray.com. You can follow me on my different social media platforms where my videos are shared. Now I'm on IGTV on Instagram, and also you can go to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube and see my videos. And if you want to do me a favor, I'm giving you free content, free education. Hey, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, smash that share button. Let's get this content out there. Let it be a blessing to others. If it's a blessing to you, let it be a blessing to someone else. And thank you for continuing to watch. And I've had a lot of people come to me privately and message me about seeing the content and how much it's been a blessing to you and how much you're enjoying it. Hey, put a comment down there. Let other people know what you're thinking about what's going on, and share it with your friends and other artists and enthusiasts. Thanks, and take care. Bye.